So what is the objective? The objective of this particular component is to equip graduates with skills and attitudes. Because when we did a survey, the private sector indicated that the young people that get out of training institutions and get into the labor market do not have the right attitudes towards work. They come to work late, they do not know how to communicate, they do not know how to negotiate, they don't know how to work in a team. Somebody comes to work very late and they want to leave very early. They will say that we have not come to work because it has rained heavily, and employers are not interested in those stories. So the program looks at equipping them with skills and attitudes that help them to be productive. It's a pilot program, so we started it, and the ambition was for us to learn and be able to scale up the good lessons. So how does it run? We work with private sector. We focus on university graduates. We have a thorough selection process where we have a portal where the graduates apply to, the companies also apply to. We have a pre-placement training for 5 days, residential, where we are able to train them in the different skills that were highlighted as gaps. We have a curriculum we developed that we use to train them. And then we place them for a period of 6 months in respective or in different companies where they work for 6 months. The project contributes 80% of their salary, and then the company hosting them contributes 20%. We provide some kind of certification at the end of the placement, because this certification at least helps some of them that are not retained to be able to show what they have been able to do, and therefore be able to secure other work opportunities. This is what we've done. I will probably not go through all of it. We launched, we mobilized graduates, we have mobilized companies, we have developed a work readiness program. We've trained and we continue to train. Even now there's a training happening at MOOBS for some of the graduates that are going to be placed. We've placed some of them, and we have actually got a number of them who have secured employment after the 6 months of placement. We've identified lessons, because it's a pilot and we're looking to learn. We've learned, and we've integrated the lessons that we've learned. Some of the key highlights that we have got: we've been able to place a total of 466 graduates. 215 were females and 251 were males. The distribution across the 4 sectors I mentioned for ICT, and we have 45% as the biggest in manufacturing. Key is that those that we placed, a total of 314 completed the training. When they completed the training, 58% of them have been retained on long-term contracts by the companies that hosted them. So we see it as a key tool that would address youth unemployment. Okay, so what are challenges? We can't say it has been a smooth sail through. There are challenges. And one of the key challenges we've got is, I mentioned at the start that the project is 48 months. We are already 36 months gone. We're left with about 12 months. But we have only placed about 466. And our target, as I mentioned, is 1,000. So we have about nearly 600 graduates to place between now and the first quarter of next year. Because when we place them, we must provide for them to undergo 6 months training before the program ends. So we have a challenge, but it's not mission impossible. I think it's workable. So another challenge we've got is, of course, finding companies that can be able to host the graduates, because it's not an internship program. It's a placement program. That one is taken on because there is a vacancy. There's an opportunity in that company that you're able to take this graduate. So that is still a big challenge. And then also delays in recruitment. So we have a thorough process of identification of companies. A number of times you find when a company has been vetted to pick graduates, and then their recruitment period is long. The processes are long. They have to go into the system, pick the graduates, interview them. The process of issuing contracts and MOUs takes a bit of time. So what are the opportunities that are in here? The opportunities are that if you have a recruitment need, maybe your company or where you come from, there is a recruitment need, you could benefit from our energetic graduates that have been trained. They will not come to work late. They will not spend time on their phones. They will sit and do the tasks that you've assigned them, okay? But we have a criteria that we follow. Remember I said the challenge, one of the challenges we face is getting companies that fit through the Kasenge JA. So one is that you must be operating in the sectors that we are targeting, the 4 sectors that I have mentioned: ICT, manufacturing, construction, tourism, and hospitality. You need to be incorporated and licensed to operate in Uganda. And you should be seeking new employees. That means you have a recruitment need. Maybe you need a salesperson. Maybe you need an accountant. Maybe you need someone. There's a position that you have that is open, that you think if this position is filled, it will turn around your business. So you should also have coaching capacity. What does that mean? That you're not going to bring a fresh graduate. Remember, they are from the university, and then you're putting them on their own. There must be somebody ready to coach them, ready to supervise them, and provide the technical support that they need. And companies owned or managed by women are encouraged to apply. So when you get this graduate, what are your roles? The company that is hosting the graduate, because it's important that you know what will be expected of you. One is you assign a supervisor for the graduate, for coaching and mentoring, like I mentioned. And then you have to do the top-up salary. So the project does 80% contribution, and then for the 6 months of placement. So the company is expected to top up the 20%. And after 6 months, we expect then that the company will be able to absorb their 100% contribution of salary. Yeah, absorb the employee once the 6 months are complete, but we are not strapping the companies. We're saying if you're happy with the performance, you're satisfied with the performance of this employee, but you also have need, because it could be that you're satisfied, but you don't have the need anymore. So the 2 conditions must be fulfilled. So how do you apply? That is the website from where you can be able to apply, and those are contacts for Enable in Uganda, the project office, and also private sector that does the implementation. Thank you very much.
All right, we have room for questions. Anyone needs clarity on something? Yes, no, and maybe if you could tell them why they, oh yeah, there's one question at the end. Did you have one? Should I start with you? Yep.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Well, I missed the first minutes. Could you please pardon me? How do you get the graduates? And if I am interested to be part of you as a graduate, what criteria do I follow and what is necessary? Thank you.
Thank you. You can answer that in the meantime.
Okay. So you get to that website, so it's both for companies and graduates. And graduates, we are looking at those that have recently graduated, not more than 2 years ago. So you apply and create your profile via that website. For additional information, we have a booth outside. You could be able to get more information.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Isaac Odong. I've been in the recruitment space for a while, and one of the challenges that I've observed, right, is that even when recruits are picked out, they are given the job to do, or they are trained, there are usually integrity issues later on in time that you could not have seen during the interview, right? Interview process. My question is, how does your pre-qualification method work? And then, if this person is laid off before, let's say, 1 year, or if they're laid off even during their probation service, do you provide some form of protection to the employer, or do you still use the same database to filter out other recruits? Thank you.
Thank you. So the employer is able to access the database. And if the employer wants, let me say, engineers, normally they have their profile, probably they have a preference for engineers from particular universities. So they have different filters through the database. They are able to select, and then if one wants like 2 engineers, they are able probably to interview about 4 or 5, depending on their own process. And then after that, they issue them contracts. Then they sign an MOU with private sector that indicates the graduates that they have taken for that period for us to be able to fulfill our own side of the bargain. But should they get, the contracts is really in compliance with the employment laws of the country. So if in any form there is a breach by the employee at that level, then they follow the procedures that are laid down within the company. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And sorry, I need to use this. Yeah, and like she's mentioned, they have a booth. Okay, it's because you're a female, so I'm going to be a little bit sexist, but you'd be the last question.
I'll remain standing. Thank you for the presentation. My concern is on the limitation, because as I'm seated here, I'm sitting on so many opportunities for the fresh graduates, but I'm not within the circles of the interest, like the thematic areas. So maybe in future, maybe you would want to consider make it open, because by doing that, you're also fighting your goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that observation. There are priority areas, but depending on what the needs are, you can get to our booth and we see what sector you're looking at, because they are priority sectors. Yeah.
Thank you so, so much. And without further ado, I'm going to ask Edward Kandole, the community manager of the Innovation Village, to share with us all the juice the village has to offer. Of 10 minutes.
You know, someone once told me that if they ever hand you a mic, you're not supposed to tap on it. So I was very careful not to do that, so that I don't appear a villager in this place of modern people. So when I was making my way to this hub, I just thought to myself that this is actually a place where the future of the economy of the country is being discussed. And the discussions we have had here, and we're continuing to have here, are going to determine the future of the economy of the country for the next probably 10 to 15 years. On that note, I would like to congratulate all of you for making it. All right. So my name is Edward Kandole, and just help me do this one thing. If you are an entrepreneur, just help me put your thumbs up. If you're an entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur support organization, please. If you are an MSME, if you're a small and medium-sized enterprise. Okay. That gives me an overview of the audience I'm speaking to. So my name is Edward Kandole, and I do work for the Innovation Village. The Innovation Village is one of the hubs. Oh, I need some help. Oh, sorry. The Innovation Village is one of the leading hubs in the country, and ours really is, we're trying to make sure that we leverage innovation as a predictable drive of growth. There is no way that progress can ever be made in any endeavor without a certain group of people dedicating themselves day by day, week by week, month by month, to make sure that progress is made. Some people, I don't know why, believe that progress simply happens, but that is not actually the case. A certain number of people, like yourselves, dedicate themselves to make sure that progress, that innovation that they so badly want is actually achieved. So ours is to create that environment. We are not the experts, but we are a convener, and we want to make sure that people that can advance a nation or an economy are able to have their ideas built. So, you may wonder why the Innovation Village. Our vision is mainly, and put simply, we want to be the best place in Africa where ideas can be brought to life. Like I said, we are not the experts, but we are a convener, and what we have been able to do, for example, in the country, is we have opened up centers in multiple areas. We have opened up in Tinda, we have opened up in Bugolobi. Those who are aware of Motive. Motive takes care of small cottage industries and creatives. We have opened up in Gulu, we've opened up in Barara, and we have opened up in Jinja. We have opened up in Guatemala, we have opened up in Ghana, and we are making strides to open up in Zambia and Ethiopia. So when I mention Africa, it isn't really a fancy word that is always put in the slides. This is really the intention. We really want to make innovation a predictable drive of growth. So we exist for innovators and everyone that believes in them. So most of the work we actually do is under 3 pillars. We empower. This entails basically creating an environment where founders and enterprises are able to thrive. This includes resources, it includes skilling, it includes capital, it includes talent, it includes physical assets, and everything that goes with that. We as well do venture building and corporate innovation, and that is done under our Future Lab studio that really helps the best solutions in the ecosystem or that we have worked with to scale. And the last one is the hardest, and this one, entrepreneur is chasing me in the corridors of the village about this, because every entrepreneur, in the first day, they believe they need financing, and financing is one of the hardest nuts to crack in the entire grand scheme of things when it pertains innovation. However, we've been able to put a few initiatives in that regard into place. We have the 97 Fund, the Kampala Angel Investor Network as well. We are a convener, and we as well open up different doors while we work with partners. So if, for example, let me mention just for one, if a partner comes to us, let's say a bank, Stanbic Bank, and it has, it's looking for a solution, it already has the customers. For the customer, for the entrepreneur, if they work with the bank through us, they are able to scale out their solution. For the partner, they are able to get access to a solution that will improve the customer experience of their clients. So that's how we're really trying to be able to build with this. We don't work alone. So if you're here and you're in university, please reach out to me. If you're here and you're a community-based organization or you're a community leader, please reach out to me. If you are from the government, we really work together. We do not believe we have all the answers. So every time we really want to work with everyone to make sure we can add our value to the country. Our reach, like I said, I think I mentioned this. We are in multiple areas, not only here, but as well we're opening up in other African countries. Objectives, I will not dwell so much onto this, but basically what we do, we try to make sure we convene people into business networking, and we try to work with partners to leverage solutions that scale. We try to incubate and as well as offer business advisory to entrepreneurs. This is very limited to mainly the support we offer entrepreneurs. And I used the word try deliberately because we really cannot do all the work. We have to work with other hubs, we have to work with other entrepreneur support organizations and the entrepreneurs themselves in order to deliver most of this work. Our community is an over 30,000 in number community, and we're not able to efficiently and sufficiently support all of them. However, what we do, we are able to engage with some online and others offline. So these are some of the service delivery vehicles that we have, and we leverage these to be able to deliver value to our community or to anyone that we interface with. If you simply starting out as an enterprise or as an entrepreneur, we will give you business foundations. That is the first level of initiatives that we have at the village. We have the Freelancers Lounge that is trying to be able to galvanize and become a gatekeeper for the freelancer community, which is bigger than the entrepreneurial community. We have DevScape that convenes developers in the country. And next week, we have DevFest. You're all invited. DevFest will happen at International University of East Africa. We have Founders Lab that delivers mentorship to founders, to the leading founders in the country. Structured growth services, if you're an enterprise and you're thinking, how do I grow? We're able to work with you to be able to grow your venture. We run the Future Lab studio as well as the Kampala, as well as convene the Kampala Angel Investor Network. These in their own right are very big, and a lot of work goes in there. These are our venture building arms. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if you would like to become a member, before you clap, if you would like to become a member of the Innovation Village or get to understand how best we can support you, you can scan that QR code. It will take you to a link where we were able to assess exactly what you do. We're trying to be as data-centric as possible because everyone comes in at different points, and we need to be able to deliver to them where they are and at what stage they are, as opposed to assuming everyone is at the same level. The two big programs we run at the village, as I sum it up, we have the digital economy program. And what we are trying to do here, we are aiming at building a digital infrastructure that should enable digital solutions, be scaled down to the last mile user and customer. We are trying to reach 3.4 million people. If you are here and you have a digital solution, we are looking for 400 solutions, whether it's in insurance, whether it is in education, whether it's in tourism. We want to be able to scale out these solutions to the remotest parts of the country. If you are an small and medium-sized enterprise, we are looking for over 1,700 that we can skill with ICT tools and applications to empower them to give as many jobs as they can to our people. We're trying to give, through the digital economy program, 300,000 jobs. The other program is the Next Wave program. And many of the entrepreneurs that we interface with have really come in face with this program. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to create as many jobs as we can to a tune of 300,000 by next year. We are halfway that number. And if you are here and you think we can work together, please, our tent is on the right-hand side of the main entrance. I will be there myself and the entire team, and I would be happy to engage with you on how best we can bring this dream to life. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Any questions for the Innovation Village?
Thank you so much, our previous speaker. Abdul Selias is my name. Again, since I lead farmers, and I at once heard about the digital economy project. Someone told me that it's targeting to support on how farmers could digitalize a number of things. Could you kindly and politely, in my most sincere soberness, let us know, or let me know, how farmers like me can really tap and get to know better the digital economy solution to us? Thank you so much. I really appreciate the efforts.
Thank you. You can answer that in the meantime as I scan around for any other questions.
So one of the pillars of the digital economy program is our partner program. So we are not able to work with each individual farmer, but what we are trying to do now is there are partners that we have brought on board, the farmer producing organizations and others, through which we're able to reach every farmer in the country. So if you would like to know more or register, you can come and register with us, and probably we can link you to an organization that we're already working with in your region, such that they can best support you. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, thank you. You're speaking to Trevor. Yes, my question is that Innovation Village, do you have easier ways of how a startup can acquire the necessary documents? For example, the trading licenses, the certificates of incorporations, and the thing. Because, as we continue, these documents are very important. For example, if you need to open a company bank account, or maybe acquire MTN APIs and all this, you need these certificates. They ask for the trading licenses, the certificates of incorporations, which messing them can go up to 2 million. So, yeah, so do you have easier ways at Innovation Village, in a way we can acquire them? Thank you.
Is the question clear? So the practical steps that you're really offering businesses in terms of registration and any other thing that takes a business. But also important to note, is it free? Or is it a service that you kind of charge for at a discount?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. So to do that, we actually set up an entire office, an entire lab. It's called the Legal Tech Lab at the Innovation Village. If you ever make your way to the Innovation Village in Tinder, on Block D, you'll find a wonderful team of ladies. They run the Legal Tech Lab, and they do exactly what you said. And the fees we charge, however, the charge is heavily subsidized because we work with partners, and we've been able to reduce it to probably a third of the actual fee or actual charge that is the standard market price. Yeah. So we're able to help you on that. Some information may actually end up being totally free, but what we charge really goes back to the powers that be.
All right, so there's a legal department that's there to assist you at a very good rates. Please come back to us if the rates are not as good. Huh?
Hello, my name is John Kenny. I run an online magazine. It's called Kampala Edge Times. And as it grows, I have realized that over time, you really have to get into the physical world for people to know you, like in the mainstream media. And it turns out that type of marketing is more expensive than this one where, maybe I know SEO, I now rank on Google, but then I have to get into the real world so that people can trust my work more than they have. So I would like to know, does Innovation Hub offer any ways to partner with other companies or investors to help small companies to grow? Because for instance, I'm inspired by New York Times. I aim for the whole of Africa. But then getting there requires, a certain level of investment and enough resources. And at the pace I'm getting there, it might take a whole lifetime. Thank you.
Ooh, It's a very ambiguous question, so good luck answering it. But I also suggest that I think you have a lengthier conversation, but you could in summary wrap up.
Yeah, honestly, we need to have a conversation, but we exist for people like you, for the dreams that you're presenting. And that's really what we're trying to do as well. So we will just need to understand your traction and, okay, all the other things about an enterprise like this. It's a very hard one, but if the numbers add up, we're really able to give you the support that we can. Yes.
Thank you so much. But without putting a lot of heaviness on just the innovation village. So Startup Uganda is a collection of hubs, right? Just actors trying to work with entrepreneurs. And a lot of us have our different strengths. I know there's MCI Hub, for example, and media is their space. So it would be nice to also reach out to them, but also go to the SU Lounge and see what the different hubs offer and how that could be interesting for you. And finally, not finally, but we're almost there, Grace Kibala from the Response Innovation Lab. Yeah, please take us through your opportunities.
Oh yeah, it's good now, right? Good afternoon. Really happy to share more about Real Response Innovation Lab, particularly Uganda Response Innovation Lab, and the opportunities that we have for all of us here. I'll start by showing this picture. If any of us has heard about refugees or seen on news or wars or whatever happens and people have to come in and respond, floods, etc. We see something that looks very familiar to the picture there, where we see Save the Children, World Vision, OPM, and UN coming to respond. But often, there's no coordination among the partners. So in 2016, the different partners at global level were responding to one of such situations when the lead for the partners sat down and said, let's wait a minute, we are doing this wrong. We are going ahead and responding, but parallel, you find one person has got care from 4 people and that causes one other person not to get any care. But also what they discovered was, as we respond, normally the communities have things that they've learned to do, natural response mechanism, or natural ways that they would actually overcome the challenge within that space. In addition, there are quite a number of solutions that the locals have developed. If you look at just our refugee community, what are the challenges there if it's about gender-based violence? How are they coping? Because I'm sure that they're not sitting down and letting gender violence happen. There are mechanisms. They could be community mechanisms. But often those different mechanisms are not tested. So you can't come and say, oh, if there's a fight in a family, call the elders. It will be resolved, right? But if you need data, anyways, in the humanitarian space for uptake or scaling of these ideas. That's where Response Innovation Lab came in. It was formed by the core partners, and I'll just flip back. Civic, Oxfam, Save the Children, World Vision, and now DRC joining the collaboration to create a space where we are creating collaboration among the partners. We are creating localization, so solutions, local solutions are being utilized, piloted, and evidence is well gathered so that they can be scaled or used more by the high NGOs. But also very important that we wanted to start solving. Often we respond, if people are hungry, no food, we give food, right? But we are saying we want to solve. Can we get solutions that will ensure that people have food, but not just giving them food? We have a number of labs across the continent, and the labs are strategically placed. The lab here in Uganda is hosted by Save the Children. So wherever a lab is opened, one of the global partners has to host you. So that's why you keep saying Save the Children with the Response Innovation Lab logo. We also have a number of affiliates. So in some places like South Sudan, we don't have a lab there, but we work through a local lab to provide our services. And we are doing more affiliates as a learning, again, localization. How do we empower the community themselves to actually do what Response Innovation Lab is doing? To mention that a number of the labs, especially Uganda, we support response to other places like DRC, South Sudan, Ethiopia, etc. Our overall mandate is really facilitating innovation and learning within the humanitarian space. Very key to mention that whatever we do is a public good. If you go to our website, you find all that we've done on there. If it's a research, it's a public good for you to use. One of our other learnings, again from the response, was if World Vision goes to respond, if Save the Children goes to respond, they will do a study. The same study will be done by World Vision, right? So Response Innovation Lab is to also make sure that if it's done, it's a public good that can be utilized by all the other actors to prevent a replication of the same effort and funding, which most times comes from the same funders. So what do we do as REAL? We have a number of labs that I've mentioned, and when we start work in a country, for example, Uganda, our first stage is to map. So when we started the lab in Uganda, we started in 2018, was we needed to map all the actors in the humanitarian ecosystem, but also in the innovation ecosystem. So we mapped government sector, private sector, startups, innovators, etc., high NGOs, different players under different thematic areas. And we have that map on our website, but we also have a database, which is called SMILE, which basically has all those entrances. And that gives us a space, a one-stop space for you to go to and get all the contacts of key people in a certain sector. For example, if you're an innovator and looking for government entities or private entities that their focus is in WASH, right? You can get to Response Innovation Lab SMILE and you're able to download their data in an Excel format and you're able to engage them. Again, whatever data we have there is public. We get it from them through our mapping exercise or their media and website. To mention that we also convene the actors. So I'll give an example of one of the works we are doing right now, which is climate adaptive programming and DRR, where we've marked actors, and in December 1st, we are going to convene them to have conversations around climate adaptive programming, but among other actors, other conveners we've had. But the whole point is, if we bring the private sector in climate, we bring government in climate, we bring ESOs in climate, and innovators and entrepreneurs in one room, even the refugees and host communities who are going to benefit in one room. And we have certain conversations. Those are very rich conversations that will guide into either identifying the right problem or coming up with the right solutions and moving in a direction that will be more sustainable, realistic, but also fruitful. From that, we are able to get shared humanitarian challenges identified, but also to mention that we do matchmake and broker partnerships. So a number of people reach out to us, including innovators, but also INGOs that will come in and say, we need this kind of people to work with. And we'll link you through our database, but also we have the networks. We'll do introductions, but also create the entire conversation. From that, then we are able to create innovation partnerships. And with that, we support and scale the innovation. So if we convene you, we will identify challenges, we'll put a call out for solutions, and those solutions can then be piloted with our support, providing financial support, technical assistance, but also providing the meal support, which is very core, and business development, so that we gather evidence, but also if it's a profitable entity, it's able to self-scale across the humanitarian space. Again, to note, key for us is generating and sharing evidence, because without evidence, you cannot scale, especially within the humanitarian space. You cannot give that nutritious porridge you've innovated to a child who's a refugee child if you have no evidence of whatever you're saying it's doing. This is some of the, and I really want to test this out, but this is some of the work we've done. I've talked about the map that we've done. We co-host information sessions, both online and in person, and also have conveners and different workshops tailored to key topics. Again, we've had a lot of matchmaking. We have a video around why the matchmaking, where we see people with challenges and seeing that the non-traditional players in the humanitarian space, that is you, the innovator, do not have that link to that problem that probably Save the Children has. And I'll give an example there. We had a call for local innovations in nutrition solutions, where we had 4 innovators piloting within a rhino camp, and one of the innovation really showing a lot of impact and opportunity for scale was adopted by Save the Children to be used for the hunger project in Karamoja. So evidence is there, and we are able to scale the innovations. In addition to financial, technical assistance, and all else that we give, we actually have a call every year where we support 20 innovators, and it doesn't matter. For this year, we are very inclusive. We had people who don't speak English because they are refugees from Congo, they speak French. We had mothers, we had someone with a hearing disability, had them in one space and really trained in safeguarding, which is core within our community in the humanitarian space, intellectual property, meal, which is monitoring, evaluation, learning, and accountability, business development, and pitching their ideas. And it's a cohort that runs for the whole year with multiple support by weekly engagements by the team to really support the innovation, to gather evidence, pilot, but also opportunity for financing. I will speak into 3 of our key projects, one of them being Utabiti. For those who have been in Kivale and Palabek refugee camp, you've heard of Utabiti project that's looking at how do we move refugees from dependency to self-reliancy, and we are partnered together with Swiss Contact and Grameen. And I know that we soon have another partner joining soon, who's one of us here today. And what we do is we support the innovation here. And there we have a catalytic innovation grant fund call that is running up to, I think, March this year, but we are supporting innovators on a roll-on basis. So you better apply ASAP before the money gets done and we close the call. And we are looking at solutions that would actually contribute to building resilience through market-led livelihood opportunities. And that's up to $100,000 US plus support from Response Innovation Lab and the rest of the partners. We are doing quite a lot of work within the climate. We've mapped the stakeholders, so reach out to us if you need any data around the stakeholders in climate adaptive programming. We have a invite convener happening on 1st December to have a bit of conversations there. But for some of us who have heard of the Smart Communities Coalition by USAID and MasterCard, that's something that now Response Innovation Lab hosts, and those are the bigger guests for the energy convener happening. We're also supporting 3 innovators to pilot within the refugee community and the host communities across Uganda, and also had 2 innovators receiving prize that are going to actually lead them to preparing them for pilot next year, hopefully. We are doing a lot of work in the energy sector around generating evidence. Again, you can pick up a lot of that data on our website. Some of us could have heard of ULearn. And ULearn is another project that we are part of. So our evidence arm of Response Innovation Lab got into which we call the Learning Hub, is in a consortium with IRC and Impact Initiative. And what we are doing is we are saying that there's a lot of information out there. Let's put it together for you, but also let's do research for you in areas that are very key, and let's share it with you so to guide you as you implement your different programs. I thought I could share the overall impact of Response Innovation Lab. That's what we are. We have an ambition for 2025 of having multiple local humanitarian challenges, but also to mention at that point that we are looking at localization. So this year for Uganda in particular, we had a call out for refugee-led ecosystem support organizations. Those are hubs that are refugee-led. And what we are looking at is what can they do to replicate what we do as Response Innovation Lab? Do we start providing our TA, our financing through them to ensure ownership, but also to the last mile management of the different resources that we are giving? Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Grace. And if you're an innovator, you know that the pain point of trying to find research to back up a lot of what you're doing is very expensive. So really grateful that we can get to have, open source data that's available. Any questions for Response Innovation Lab? And for those that took photos of the opportunities, please make sure you follow up. Don't just write notes in your book and you forget that there's a fund that you can actually be a part of or a learning platform. Whew, so far at the back. Any other person has questions back here so I can remember to come back to you? This is why I ask people to move to the front because the energy to walk back here is, eish.
Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm actually an entrepreneur, more of agribusiness, of our agriculture. My concern is why not bidi-bidi? Why it goes to Rhino and other areas? We had also concern of women and girls who are having challenges to do with the digitalization in the settlement. And there has not been hubs that can back up. The few that are existing still lack the capability to bring up the girls and women in the settlement. I do my projects more of marketing, what farmers are producing, especially the refugees and the host community, in which we have moved in another level, but